With us right now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us from Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket in Dallas, is Donovan Lewis. How you doing, Donovan?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks very much for coming on with us always on Tuesday. Last week when we talked, you told me that you didn't think Dallas would win the ball game at Baltimore, but as long as they went out there and gave a competitive effort, went out there and showed that they were in the game, that you'd be okay with it. Now, in hindsight, having seen the way this thing played out, they did all that. How you feeling?
Yeah, I might want to retract what I said. It's just, we talked about this in the summertime, and we said that when you have an opportunity to go out and get a game, when it presents itself like that, when you have a chance to steal a game that you're not supposed to win, you got to go get it. And if I gave Norm an exercise in the post-game show, and I said, cover up the score, look at the stats, and tell me what you think the final score would be. And he said Dallas will win in a landslide because of time of possession and rushing yards and everything else. And yeah, I know I said that, but I think I want to go back on that because you got to go get those games when they're out there like that. And take the last 30 seconds out of it for just a second.
Okay.
And you look at the game and how it progressed and how it played out, the Cowboys left so many points on the field. They shouldn't have been in that situation where having to get the two-point conversion to tie the game or an onside kick and all that. They shouldn't have been in that position because they left so many points. Every time they went down there to get close to the red zone or inside the red zone, they had some kind of stupid penalty that put them back and pushed them back where they had to settle for 3. And you just can't win ball games on the road like that. I mean, you possessed the ball for 40 minutes. They gave up the most rushing yards they had ever given up in their team history.
Yep.
And you still lose that ball game. So, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. And Jason Witten said it so correctly after the game. There are no more victories in the NFL. Yeah, you played well and you had a chance to win on the road when everyone expected you to lose. But the bottom line is they just didn't get the job done. It starts at the top, man. It's so many people to point the finger at, and doing the post-game show Sunday, and everyone had venom against this person and this person and this person. My venom is squarely with Jason Garrett. You have got to absolutely manage the game. And from the last 2.5 years, we've seen Jason Garrett. He is a horrible game manager. And that just can't happen. You just can't have that as a head coach.
What do you do, though, when it's obvious he needs help? Maybe, handing the play calling off to somebody else so he doesn't have to deal with that. But Jerry says, nope, that's not part of the job. He's the head coach and the offensive coordinator. That's how it's going to be. I mean, where do you go with that?
I don't know. When the man is talking about the man under the man and saying that, nope, everything is fine. The one who has dual jobs is telling you that the guy with dual jobs is okay. The owner and GM is saying, hey, he's the coach and offensive coordinator. He can handle that.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'm handling what I'm doing also. I would be more comfortable, and this is just me, with him just being the offensive coordinator and bringing someone in as a head coach. Because you need someone that understands every facet of the game. I will guarantee you, I will put my whole paycheck on the line, Bryan, that if you went up to Jason Garrett and asked him anything scheme-wise about the defense, he has no earthly idea what's going on.
Probably right. You're probably right.
So if he's in his headsets and he's listening to Rob Ryan try to call a defense that he doesn't want, there's no way he can say, whoa, no, what are you doing, dude? Don't do this, do that. And that's what's great. You think Bill Belichick is in his headphones, and if he hears someone call the defense he doesn't want, you know what he says? Nope, run something else.
Can't repeat what he says.
don't want it. Run something else. If it's offensive wise, and they kind of run a play that he doesn't want, nope, run something else. Because that's what head coaches do. They overlook and oversee everything. You just have Garrett's eyes squarely focused on the offense and nothing else, and calling plays and seeing what's next, and trying to think a couple plays down the road, which offensive coordinators should and will do. But head coaches don't need to do that. He needs to have his mind squarely on the game and the situations of what's going on. Now we can go to those last 30 seconds. When Romo threw the ball to Dez, and it only got a yard. Mm-hmm. And yes, Dez was bitching and moaning at the line about the referee and about the spot and all that. And yeah, Ogletree and Miles Austin didn't hustle back to the line and all that. The one thing that should have been done, Jason Garrett should have been halfway on the field screaming in the referee's ear trying to call a timeout. That's his only job. That's his sole purpose. So if you call that timeout with 18 seconds, with 16 seconds left, you could run a play or two to try to get Bailey a little closer. It's not up to Romo. It's not up to anyone else. It starts with the head coach. You got to understand the situations, understand what's going on, and if you need a timeout right there, yes, you'll ask one, but blow it right there.
All right,
get it.
Let me throw out devil's advocate stuff here now.
Okay.
One of the things that we talked about yesterday is the fact that when a team commits 13 penalties in a ball game, and they do this game after game after game, you know that the coaches are in these guys' ears every week saying, you got to stop this, you got to stop this, stop the penalties, stop the penalties. You see guys walking back to the line of scrimmage when there's 20 seconds left in the game and you're down 2, is it possible that these guys are just absolute idiots and you can't coach these guys up?
I think every player in the NFL is coachable. That's how they got there. And I think they are. I just think when you sit back and you scream and you yell, and this goes to parenting. When your parents screamed and yelled at you, guess what? It went in one ear and out the other. You didn't pay attention to it. That's just human nature. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but then you got yanked up and got it slapped in through the rear end,
Exactly.
You can't do that with a football player.
Yes, you can. Yes, exactly you can. Because guess what? If you're not performing well, I don't care if your backup sucks or he's horrible, he's going in. Because if you can't do your job, I can't put you on the field.
Well, that's all it is to it. I agree with what you're saying, but this leads to what my next part of this thing, where you were talking about Jason Garrett should have called timeout, 16 seconds, you got time for a couple of plays. Is it that he just doesn't trust his dumb players to do what they're supposed to do, so he would rather just take the chance on kicking the 51-yard field goal and letting the clock run down than watching these idiots do something like a 5-yard penalty to back it up and make it a 56-yard field goal? Is it a case of you just don't trust your team?
And if that's the case, then he should get out. There's no reason for him to coach this team if that's the case, because you saw early in the game, I can't remember if it was first or second quarter, they had an opportunity for a 51-yard field goal. And guess what happened? They didn't even attempt it because they thought that, that's a little too far for Bailey right now. So now all of a sudden it's okay. You don't trust your team enough to move your field goal kicker closer when that was the exact same spot as early in the game. I'm telling you, you cannot coach scared. Okay. And if that's what he's doing, then he needs to go find something else. And he's just not built equipped for this job, if that's the case.
Do you trust this team?
I do. I really do offensively. If you can go out there and, you know what, if they get a penalty and it's moved back and they can't get it done, then at least he tried. And I know he'd be ripped for that. I know he would.
Sure.
But in this game of football and coaching, and especially with the Cowboys, you can't win. You can't win, and so might as well go out there with the fighters, with the boxers, try. At least you have one punch, and that's the old boxer's mentality. I don't care what's going on throughout the fight. At least you have one punch, and you have one punch to go out there, and maybe that can change things around. Just go out there and give it the old college try. If they go out there and they have a 10-yard penalty and they didn't get it done, that's on them. But at least you didn't just give up. And I think that's what the Cowboys did. They gave up. They didn't know the situation. They all got a little nervous. I don't know if they got scared or what, but they didn't know the situation. And that's why I try to preach this a lot. The games are won Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays when you have practice and you discuss situations and you put your game plan together. That game plan was perfect. They had 2 weeks to put a game plan against Baltimore, and it was perfect. They ran it down their throats because Baltimore can't stop the run. How sweet was that?
No, it was wonderful.
It was really, really good to see. But offensively, the fingers pointed to the offense. But defensively, when a team is on the field for 20 minutes and they have 4 really long scoring drives, the defense needs to be looked at also. That's a big team loss. Special teams, defense, and offense just failed them.
And now you're getting to the point that really has been, you talk about how Jason Garrett can't manage a game. How many more opportunities is Joe DeCamillis going to have to be a special teams coach? I mean, this guy's got pictures of Jerry in a hot tub with somebody. I'm telling you.
I know.
It's got to be, because their special teams time and time again find ways to lose ball games.
No doubt. That was absolutely unacceptable, what happened with that kickoff return. I don't know if they just let up a little bit because it was 8 yards deep and they thought there's no way he was going to bring that out. But, yeah, you're right. It's game after game where DeCamillis just can't get the job done. And I get sick and tired of hearing about, they just don't have the personnel to get it done. Every team in the NFL uses the back end of their roster for special teams. That's just one of the biggest excuses out there. So, no, he is not getting the job done, and I just don't understand why he still has the job. Someone out there can't get the job done. I'd rather bring Campbell back or something and have him be a special team coach or someone. But if it's not working, you've got to do something. And bringing in Lance Dunbar off the practice squad, assigning him is not something that you need to do. You need to go out there and let everyone know that you're serious about changing this thing and making it happen. And if it's firing the special teams coach, then that's what it is. But something has to be done.
Well, I mean, I watched Andy Reid fire his defensive coordinator today. I mean, it can be done.
Right. Well, he shouldn't have hired him in the first place.
Well, this is true, But
hey, you're an offensive line coach? Yeah, you can coach the defense. That's fine. There's no problem with that. We always do that. That's just ridiculous.
But the bottom line is, Jerry Jones, the head coach, isn't going to fire the guy.
No, he's not. And I just don't understand why. I think you just have to sit back. He has to sit back and seriously evaluate everything that's going on with this team. But on the outside looking in, it seems as though he has his hands full with so many other things.
Well, he's selling underwear.
Right, that this football team is almost on the back burner. And as GM of this team, he should have his, they tell the players they should have their noses in their playbooks. He should have his nose in everyone else's practice squad, people that's out on the street, everything, trying to bring people in to better and help this roster out a little bit. It just seems like he has so much else on his plate that that's one of the last things he's going to do, and that's not right.
They got to win this game at Carolina this weekend, don't they?
You know what? Or they're going to have to go and get a couple of games that no one expects them to win. They had an opportunity to do that Sunday, and they let that slip by. Now, every time you always talk about must-wins and games that the Cowboys should win, they almost always don't. So now, you know what? If that's the case, you're going to have to go to Atlanta and win, or have the Giants come to their home stadium at Cowboy Stadium, where they've never lost, and you're going to have to get a win. If you want this season to be successful, you're going to have to go out there and find a couple games that you're not supposed to win, and you got to go get them. And right now, I don't have the confidence in that.
No, especially not after last weekend. No, that's okay.
Right.
Don't see it happening. Don't see it happening.
Just 16 of these things, man, and I hate to keep harping on that, but there are only 16. And if you have an opportunity to get one on the road against a good team, I don't care how it gets done. You've got to take advantage of it.
I'm with you, buddy. Hey, Donovan, great talking to you, man. We really do appreciate it. Hang in there. Maybe someday somebody with some brains is going to get in there and start running this thing.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about a good game, a good win against Carolina next week, not just a good game.
Gosh, I hope so. Yeah. And maybe we won't see guys walking back to the line of scrimmage with 20 seconds to go either. So.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't understand the game situation. No one knew there were only 20 seconds left, so why hold it back? Oh, I'm tired.
I told people last hour, it was like watching 4-year-olds play soccer. You know how there's the ball flying everywhere and everybody's going one direction, and there's one kid looking at an ant on the ground. That's what watching the Cowboys is like sometimes,
A butterfly flies by. Oh, look at the pretty butterfly.
Exactly.
Don't even know what's going on. Yeah.
The wonder of life. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Donovan, good talking to you, man. Thanks very much.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Donovan Lewis, 1310 The Ticket on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM.